Welcome to That's My Biz, the Internet Business Showcase, where we bring exposure to products, services, and special causes of local businesses and organizations. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the BizLinks TV studio. Brought to you by Southeast Computers, repairs, upgrades, custom builds, and restorations. SoutheastComputersATL.com. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of That's My Biz. I'm Pamela Alexander, your host, and as always, we love bringing to you the wonderful businesses, nonprofits, and associations that we meet when we're out here networking, and we just have a fun show ready for you today. We want to remind you, check out the episode again at www.bizlinks.tv. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BizLinksTV. Don't just subscribe. Make sure you comment, give us some thumbs up on these shows as well. Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/BizLinksTV. I am going to dive right in because we just have a special guest with us today. Now, we've had her on the show before, early on at the beginning stages of That's My Biz, almost 4 years ago now. So she has been doing a lot since then. So we wanted to bring you up to date. We have Miss Natasha Davis with us. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you so much, Pam. I'm always excited to be on BizLinks TV. I'm really excited to be sitting here with you. A lot of great things have transpired, and I can't believe it's already been 4 years.
I know, time flies, I tell you.
What is that?
Well, for those people that don't know you, because I know y'all aren't under rocks, but she's been doing so much in Atlanta. If you don't know her, you need to know her. So let me tell you a little bit officially about her. We're going to dive in. She is a baccalaureate prepared registered nurse, certified in emergency and trauma nursing for over 10 years. But lo and behold, she emerged as a business and marketing strategist in 2007 with the launch of her second company, Visionary People LLC, and she is a certified woman-owned small business. She has tons of initials behind her business description now. She's DBE, WBE, MBE. We'll talk about what all that is. Right, exactly. She has shifted her career focus and pursued her master's in business and marketing in the fall of 2009. So she just didn't start a business. She went back and got more education so that she could truly run her business the way it needed to be run. And she is an author, 2 books. She's a radio personality. She's a TV show producer as well. And now her next big thing is she was appointed the NSBA spokeswoman for Georgia small businesses. She's won tons of awards. I'm not even going to rattle all that off for you. We're just going to dive right in and talk to Natasha. But the first thing I'm sure that most people want to know is, how did you transition from nursing to business?
You know, I got to say something. Every time I hear my bio, the short version, I'm like, who in the world? And when did I have time to do that in the past 8 years, or actually more, 15 years, but a bulk of it got done in 8 years. And about 8 years ago, I was in nursing full time. And it's kind of like this thing that happens all the time. You're going, and then you realize, what am I doing here? Am I really complete? Am I happy? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And everyone has that question, you know. Everyone goes through that. And some people brush it off and they all stop being silly, stop being greedy, you know, that greedy in life thing. And, you know, just do what you do. Be grateful.
You have a job.
Have a job. It's a J-O-B. We'll talk about that just over broke situation. But we're here, and I'm there, and I'm working. And I remember the big pivotal moment for me was I did 12 hours. At this point, I had shifted from working nights, and I work days now. So I got off the graveyard thing. Okay, so then my brain kicked back in, and I can have blood flow. So I know what's going on in my life. So I'm there, and I remember, I just felt miserable. It was like slow suicide. You know, day after day, I would do my work. I would take care of my patients because that's what I would love to do. But I wasn't happy and complete. And this day, I did my 12-hour shift, and it was just miserable the whole day. And I was just like, this sucks, you know? And I got in my car, and I bawled. And I cried and cried and cried. I mean, you'd have thought my dog died, my mama died, daddy died all on the same day. So, and I'm thinking, and I remember saying to myself, God, why would you give me this passion for something else and make it so difficult for me to achieve it? And it was just painful. And I'm like, God, I don't want this anymore. I want what I want. And so that was the big shift. That was the pivotal moment where I realized I'm not really designed to be a nurse in full-time anymore. But at that time, I really didn't know what I was supposed to completely do. And so I ventured into start putting my hands and dipping my toe into the pool of business. And
okay.
so because everything I knew was nursing. I know everything about nursing.
Right.
I know the entire industry. I know the people. And I was pretty well positioned in nursing too. So when, Natasha showed up, they know the trauma nurse is here.
Right.
The one that gets blood out of a stone, the one that can work the trauma room. So I got my accolades and my recognition in nursing, but I didn't have that in business. So I was like, well, how do you walk into like a chamber and be like, I'm the top trauma nurse? They're like, and why are you here? The little medical thing is 4 buildings down, so I had to figure out how to make myself fit. And I got to tell you, Pamela, it was hard because I couldn't find a fit.
Right, okay.
I felt perfectly fine in nursing. I knew where I was in nursing. I fit perfectly there. But in business, I was very confused because I couldn't find my fit. Like, am I really supposed to be here? What am I doing? Whatever.
So did you go out and get some education, just start networking? What did you do to...
Well, what happened is I've been in the business sector a long time because my mentor, one of my best friends, my daddy, has been in business since he was like 19 years old. Thank God he's still alive now, and he's still in business. So I've always been in that capacity, and I have an entrepreneur bloodline. Okay. So when I realized that I'm too miserable and unhappy to stay in nursing, and I'm kind of nervous about business, and I just applied the same principles. Hey, listen, you didn't know nursing before you got into nursing, and you're pretty damn good at it now, right?
That's right?
So now you got to go do business, got to do the same exact thing. So what I started doing was I started reading and going to seminars, paying attention to webinars. I knew nothing about social media pre-2008.
Okay.
Knew nothing. Wasn't on Facebook, wasn't on Twitter, nothing. Okay. And so at that point, I realized, okay, if I'm going to do what business people do, then I have to go where business people are. And so I started reading. I mean, I have shelves. I have like 3 bookshelves in my office, and it's lines and rows of books. So I read and I read and I read, and I went out and I interacted. I met awesome people like you and other people, and I'm like, dog, these people are awesome. Right.
Now, before you go on, I want to put a pin in that because we want to make sure, because I hope you all have some paper, because there's a lot of lessons in here and already several nuggets that you shared. One of the first is really, first of all, waking up and discovering that, maybe what I've done for years, I love doing it. It's not that I didn't love doing that, but it's time for me to make a change.
I needed to make a change.
So many people get stuck in a job and start getting complacent, just get comfortable with it, and it just becomes life, but something is missing. So to be able to realize that. And then the next challenge is going into an area that's so completely different. I know my husband Nash was in education, for up 10 years, and then to go into business, and you realize it's a different world.
Different language, different people.
Exactly.
You got to walk differently, talk differently, carry. Not that you're being someone that you're not, but you have to adopt a different way of thinking and approaching.
The culture is different.
Different culture.
Exactly. Education is different. So that's one, kind of just waking up and seeing what's going on, and then making that decision. It's a tough decision, but that's what business people do.
It's
make
tough.
that decision to go into another area, and then then the next piece that you said was learning, how do I operate in this area? Yes. She got books. She went out there, and if you're going to do what business people do, you got to be where they are. So that's another one for you. So make sure that you take that note. And then she's talking about networking and meeting businesses. Talk a little bit more about networking and just the true importance of that for business.
My God, even one of the things I actually everyone, we got to read a book on everything. Yes. You need to understand what it is, because if you don't know what you don't know, here we go. So I even got just a book. I would read articles on proper networking, just the basic etiquette of networking, how to properly network, how to be an effective networker. And I remember my first networking event, girl. At the time, me and my husband at the time, we went to this networking event, and all we saw was people. And we didn't know what to do. We acted a plum fool. Okay?
No elevator pitch, huh?
No pitch. We didn't even know what that was. Spell it. So we walked up, and I had a stack of cards, and he had a stack. I mean, they were about this thick. Everybody was going to know who we were. And the room was about a good 1,000, 1,500, 1,200, because it was a big, massive chamber event. And we divided and conquered.
Right.
I went west, he went east. We just kept it rolling. And we came back and we said, we got all these cards.
Right.
And man, when I tell you, we met people, we gave out cards. When the time came now, these people had to be called.
Right.
You have to follow up.
That's it.
So now I was like, who's going to call all these people? So I said, well, I guess this is what we do in business.
Right.
And I sat there and I got down to about call number 5 or so, and everybody said the same exact thing. Who are you?
Right.
Where did I meet
just
you?
Met you. What
Right.
do you
I
mean?
met you last night.
Right.
It's like I sent them an email and I got a response. If you don't stop spamming me, what in the world? Were they drunk?
Right.
And so I realized I don't think this is the way networking is supposed to work. So what did I do? Got another book. How to effectively network, how to do it right. And then I realized there's some keys. You go out and network. Your goal is not to divide and conquer. It's not to get every business card there. You actually only really need one or two good cards.
Absolutely. You know, and that's the thing, you know, so many people approach us about coming to events, you know, because it's going to be 300 and 500 people.
You know what? I'm not going to be there. Let that be
You
the
can't meet
tagline.
all those people.
You're not going to remember me.
Right.
And then I find out if you have adult beverages on the premises too, everybody's going to be frosted. No one's going to remember me.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not going. That is not my thing to go. I would rather go to a room of 10
That's it.
and sit down and I can glean from you. I can learn from you. You can learn from me. And when we get up, you're going to remember me and I'm going to remember me. That person becomes your walking billboard.
Right, exactly. And in talking about that, we just did an article talking about, really the gist of it was talking about quality versus quantity.
Yes.
Specifically when we're talking about really anything, but when we're talking about social media, we're talking about contacts. Talk a little bit about that, because so many people are focused, especially on social media. They want everything to go viral. They want all these followers and all of that. Talk a little bit about that quality versus quantity.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to use a very good example, and she doesn't know this. Do you remember when we met or how you met me? I stalked this woman like a bill collector. Do you hear me? I'm going to tell you exactly how I met this woman. She was speaking at an organization and delivering a workshop.
Okay.
And I looked, I said, dog, she's sharp.
Okay.
And that's like what I said. And I said, that's good people to be around. Very personable, very friendly, very welcoming. But you were professional, you were smart. I mean, you're still smart.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You're still smart. Still a good girl.
I'm adding to it.
So I'm sitting here and, you know, here's the thing. And most people think that something's wrong with this. When you see someone doing what you want to do, when you see someone in that position, you see someone doing something successful, your goal is to emulate them. You track them down hard. And I tracked her down. And I remember I went on LinkedIn. And I was looking for her. And I tried to find her on Facebook. And you know, on Facebook, she got that R in front of that P.
Right.
You don't put that R in, you're going to have a problem. So I'm tracking her down. I found her on LinkedIn. And I started emailing you. And just very cordial. Now, you know, and it's not what I want from her, like your contacts, your money, whatever. It was more, I needed to be in your circle. I needed to be in your presence because this was a woman that I wanted to emulate. So then I reached out to her on LinkedIn and she was traveling all over. And I'm like, if she can't stay in the daggone state, let alone the country. So I'm like, okay, no problem. And I said, well, let's get together. And I forgot how everything rolled out. And at the time, you were just working on projects and things were rolling out. And here's the key, guys. Here's what you do. How can I help? What of my talents can I bring to the table?
Right.
And that's really what it is.
Yeah.
How can I help, and which of my talents can I bring to the table? Not to always to get something, but sometimes just showing up is half the battle. And sure enough, and you ask her, how can I help? She will tell you. You're going to find out.
Right.
So we went in, and that is how things worked. And when we got together, it just clicked because I didn't have excessive personal agendas that I was trying to, you know, suck something from you or take something from you. It was really more that I was looking to glean from you, to learn from you, because most leaders, and as a leader as she is, you need to learn how to emulate other leaders and how to glean, and most leaders will want you to emulate them. They're trying to help you. So that's exactly what it was. So when we talk about networking, that's a key thing. Track down the person that is doing what you want to do. Emulate them and reach out to them, and that's exactly how we met. And I don't think you remember that.
I don't remember that, and
you were going
I'm
to
glad
Jamaica.
it was nice.
I remember it like it was yesterday. She couldn't stay in the country long enough to have coffee with me, people.
We gotta be everywhere, you know. We gotta make those contacts, but I'm making the contacts so I can pass them on to you.
See?
So that's what we gotta do. But
I got her on her trip back. As soon as she got back from Jamaica, she went. That's where you were. You just came back from Jamaica, and I said, "Well, I'm Jamaican. You should have took me with you. Remember that? You should have took me with you." I showed. Oh, and she was so nice. You know, she was lying. Oh, next time I will. Right.
But this is a thing though, because I mean, as you can tell, we know each other well.
Yes.
We have networked more and more over the years. We've collaborated on a lot of different projects, and I promise you all, because we already know we are so off book with That's My Biz, is what this show normally is. And I knew this would happen, but we promised you all, because we have been talking about this for the longest, that we're going to bring you all a special show, because there's so much to share. There's so much knowledge that Natasha has that we really want to not take it from you, that you only get just a short little nugget of it. There's so much, but we'll get back to book for That's My Biz for the moment, because we can go down a rabbit hole with everything.
We sure can.
But we'll do it on business related topics too. And with that, I want to talk about visionary people, because people need to know visionary people has come so far in the growth and development of this company and this business, from where you were at the beginning and doing her coaching and consulting, and she's now gone into getting more of the contracts. So let's talk about that, because I think for our viewers, we don't talk about that a lot with a lot of businesses that we've had on. So share that experience, because I know a lot of people will hear about it. They know they should probably do it, but not quite sure why. Kind of talk about your evolution into making that decision and what the experience has been for you.
Absolutely. And that's just a perfect word to use, evolution. Write that down. Evolution and re-engineering. We have got to be in a place with our business where we can identify when it's time to evolve, which is change it, and it's time to re-engineer, which is to make some things better. And so in 2007, February, when I launched a company, you launched a company with the intent to do certain things. Every single company, I don't care who you are, how big you are, how small you are, what industry you're in, every single company is different from the day that they launched. As they keep going, because you're growing, you're learning that processes don't work, so we need to reconfigure it, and procedures need to be implemented, systems need to be developed. Very few small businesses even start with systems, and that's why a lot of times people have the issue of having success, because there's no system. No one's following a system, because they think I'm too small. When you're in the workforce at a big company, they have policies, procedures, and systems, and businesses have to do the same. So as I was going on, and I looked and I said, 4 years in, I didn't have really good systems and processes. So the evolution then came, and then you start to realize, you go into business initially out of two things. You're frustrated, you have a passion for certain things, or you unfortunately were forced into it because you were either, fired, and you had to do something to sustain. And to be 100% honest, that's a reason to get into business, but that's not the successful reason. The reason you get into business is for only two things. Either you're going to start a business to buy up other companies, or you're going to start a business to sell that one to the highest bidder and start another one. That's it. And so I didn't learn that when I started my company, right? So I had to, over the 4 years, and I met phenomenal people. I mean, people that were just pouring knowledge in, which is a blessing. I then realized I needed to re-engineer and restructure some things. And then I sat down and I said to myself, and here's exactly what I said, guys, I'm really transparent. So, you're getting it real good now. I sat down and I said, because at the time I was writing customized business plans, doing one-on-one coaching, and on a more small scale, micro entrepreneur level. And one day I sat down and I said to myself, what is the legacy that I'm going to leave? Because if I am the beginning and the end of this company, there is no legacy. Because if I don't show up, nothing gets done. If I don't track the person down, I don't get a check, right? And I said, well, how can I make a living like this? And then the next question to myself was,
how can you make a living? How can you live?
How can I live?
Right?
Because, unfortunately, most small businesses they don't make over $25,000 a year. That is not sufficient. You can't pay anyone's salary from that, right? So you can't get any help, real quality help. So I said, you know what? After I realized that, and I said, you know what? I got a pen and paper. I said, write down what services you offer, whatever. Write down the cost you're charging. And my goal was I wanted to make a minimum of $1.2 million for the year. That's what I wanted to revenue. That wouldn't be my salary. I want to revenue that for the company. And then I sat down and I looked at the services I was offering, the prices I was charging, which was way too low. That was step number one. I then went and become an expert at pricing strategy. Because I realized if I'm having a problem doing it, then other people are, and I can help other people. So I'm a killer pricing strategist now, right? Because I went to become an expert. The next thing I realized, how many business plans would I have to write in order to get to my $1.2 million? And guys, between heartburn, migraine headaches that appeared at that very same time. I realized it's not going to work.
The numbers do not lie.
The numbers do not lie.
Nothing. The numbers do not lie.
It doesn't lie. And then I realized the man hours that goes into writing a proper business, because you can't deliver, for lack of better words, you cannot deliver slop to people. You got to deliver quality, right? So then I sat there and I realized I don't even have enough time in a day, let alone a month or a year to. I would never leave my desk.
And you couldn't charge them what it would cost you for all those hours.
No, not for the audience I was serving. I would never leave my desk. I'd probably never leave my home. I probably could barely take a shower, and I'd be on a really good diet though, because eating wouldn't be able to fit in. And then I realized this is not practical. Okay. Something had to change. And so then I went and I started again searching for that clarity on what it is I need to do. You have to learn how to reach down deep in yourself and say, what am I so good at that I can duplicate and I can infuse into other people to do it? That's the piece that makes you, when you become a duplicatable business, that's where you'll get to the 1.2 million. And when I sat down with a mentor of mine and they said, until you get to $1 million, you're not saying anything in business. You're going to keep eating crumbs. And I was offended at first because I was ready. I was like, who are you talking to? That's when you throw the hair out. And you throw the eye out. Who are you talking to? But it's real. Until you get to your first million, you can't do anything else. You can't pay anybody else. You can't pay yourself properly. You have to be able to, and you can't grow the business. So the goal, as I've always been infusing into people, your goal is to always get to your first million in business. I don't care what you need to do. You get to your first million. I don't care what you sell. I don't care how you get there. I don't care what you do. And I'm going to talk about something real quick. I don't care what modality you use. You get to your first million, and then you can focus on living your life the way you want to live it. Because if you can't get to that million, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do.
I can't even bring out all the bullet points. I just hope, there's this little back button. It's not called rewind anymore.
Yeah, pay
but
attention. The back button. What is that? Is it reverse?
Reverse.
What is it?
We're aging ourselves with the rewind. But go back. Make sure that you take these notes, glean these nuggets, because we're talking about now taking business from what we call being a micro entrepreneur. It's just you, and it requires you to run that business to truly now moving into that true business level where you have others that are working. You're creating job opportunities.
I love create jobs.
Yes. Absolutely. And then you're able to actually maybe take a vacation. You're maybe able to breathe a bit. But you cannot have the company that just solely, some people have business, that's all they want. They just want to be able to pay the bills. They want to go to work. Basically, they create a job for themselves.
They create another job.
Let's talk about that just over broke.
Oh my gosh. Let me, here's what I'm going to say in two respects. Some people may think that we're advocating that everybody should be a business owner. That is not what we're advocating. If you have business ownership in you, and that's a desire you have in you, go for it and go for it hard, go for it strong. And I always post on my social media, I'm like, don't apologize for pursuing success. Do not apologize. Go for it and kill that thing and bring it home. And so the thing behind that is, if you know that is a quality that you have, go for it. Don't try to suppress it by saying, well, I'm just going to work my job. And, look at me. I went to school. I love nursing. I went to school. I poured a lot into it. I even went back to school to get my nurse practitioner. So I went to school and I have these things, and people would say, well, you have because the company Visionary People has revitalized into being a brand management company because we manage so much. People look at me and say, well, what does being a nurse practitioner have to do with you being a brand strategist? Everything. Because I'm using a strategic movement to excel myself. There is more to me than the average bear, right? So I have my company, and I can infuse my company to do branding. But guess what? Medical world needs the same exact thing. And then they also need other capacities, and I'm a speaker and I'm a trainer. So as a nurse practitioner, I can split myself. I can go talk to business. I can go talk to medical. And another thing is, with the contracts I do with government, some of them are only looking for nurse practitioners. Guess what? Here I am. Look no further. Cut the check.
Wow. So now tell me, what are some of the benefits of someone pursuing really any of the certifications for their small business?
I mean, they're huge opportunities. And I will tell you, just like anyone else, I was afraid of it at first. I was very afraid because two things happen. That doesn't happen to small businesses. That's not real. And number two is I don't even know how to start. Right. And so what happens now, when you go and you position yourself, getting certified to do business with the government or corporations, you have what we said a DBE, disadvantaged business enterprise. Any company that's making less than $5 million is a disadvantaged business enterprise. Can I get an amen?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then you have a WBE, woman-owned small business enterprise, WOSB, you know, all these things. You have so many certifications. Now, here's the status of it. It puts you at the table to negotiate or to even present your business, tables you could have never sat at before.
Right. Okay.
So that then goes back to what I said before. When I sat down and I realized, how many business plans do I need to write to get to my 1.2 million? And it was a lot. Especially when you're only charging $700 or $1,500. That's a lot of business plans, right? And then I realized, well, what tables can I sit at? I can hire more people when I'm making and revenuing 1.2 million or 2 million. I can hire people and get my business to expand when I just want a contract of 800,000. I can do that. So when you put yourself in a position to sit at tables that you could have never sat at before, that is the great movement. That's the movement that you're looking for. Because there are some companies, unless you have these certifications, they won't even talk to you. They won't talk to you. Plus, also, it gives you an opportunity to scale and expand your business. Most small businesses, I'm going to take a restaurant, for example. Most people who love to cook, right? They think they cook very well. Granted, you open a business. Awesome. You got this restaurant. Awesome. Two things happen. They work like dogs, 7 days a week. You can't go anywhere. Then they get so tired that they either begin to close one of the days because they're too tired. Right? The person that owns the restaurant is also working in the restaurant. Who's working on the business? Right. Who? You're back there frying chicken and seasoning fish. Who's working on the business? Who's scaling this business? Who's sitting down and saying, what do we need to do to take the company from where we are to where we're going to be? And that's another thing. People need to stop thinking about their business as being small. You are only small by dollar amounts for the government. Think of your company as a company, and then you'll be able to do greater things. Because if you think I'm a small business, you will think small, you'll act small, you'll react small, you'll do small things. You think of yourself as a company, you'll do great things, you'll do big things, because you can go represent yourself well. Oh, what's your little small business? Get it straight. I'm a company. So you got to be able to stand up and say, I'm a company. If you don't function as such, no one will treat you as such. And so that was another thing. I don't identify myself on my business card as a CEO of whatever. I'm not a small, I'm a small business enterprise, so I can get contracts from the government. Otherwise, from that, I am a firm. I am a consulting firm.
But even a small business, a lot of people think that that's, again, those micro entrepreneurs is just that individual. I mean, a small business, you can have hundreds of employees and still be classified as a small business.
You are classified as small business for the purposes of us 500. If you have 500 or more employees, now you're a corporation. So it's just all these, it's the legalese, you know, it's just the words, you're playing on words. But if you, like I like to say, you need to function as if. You open up your doors, you function as if. Get job descriptions, because there will be a day that you will hire somebody in a position. The worst thing that can happen, someone comes and says, how can I help? And you can't answer them. Because you know what you do, pull out that job description and say, okay, what's your qualifications? Here you go, do that. Done.
Exactly.
Function as if. If you have to be the 5 roles, then you should have a job description, and you go to your job description, you put your new hat on, this is the role that I am fulfilling.
And so that leads me to, I want to make sure we provide them some resources, because as you're talking, I'm constantly hearing E-Myth in my head. I'm the principles.
Awesome.
And the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And with that, so definitely go out and get that book. But also, what are some resources that businesses can tap into in learning about, especially on the government contract side, because we don't want you to think that this is a simple task. You just go out and get this certification. No. There's a lot of work. I remember seeing when Natasha was starting to get this. Yes, it's a lot of work. It can be very invasive as well.
It's very invasive.
Well worth it on the other end, would you say?
Okay. It is well worth it, because again, let's think about a woman. Okay, you go through the energy of, carrying a child, 9 months, the pain, you give birth, and then you got this beautiful baby, boy, girl, or whatever. Then they grow up, and you got to slap them around at 12 because they think they're grown, right? Same thing with a business. You're going to have to go through some things to get there. If you don't do anything different, you will have nothing different. If you don't pursue greatness, you won't have it. So you have to do what other people won't, so you can have what other people don't. So that's what you have to do. So some people are too scared to go and pursue that. So you know what? You go and do it. You go do it because you're going to put yourself in a position. So what if they ask you about your tax information? They ask you about it anyway when you was working with Uncle Sam, when you was working with the corporation. You had to put your what? Social security number, your date of birth, and you had to put all your business out there. It is no different. It's no different. So it's going to be invasive and all this other stuff. And they're going to ask you about a whole bunch of things. As long as you're not a criminal, you're not to be arrested. Put the information down. It's going to work out for you. It'll put you in that position. But you can go to the organization that I tapped into so that I can do very well is NAWOSB. NAWOSB. You can also go to their, it's a very great group. You can go to womenwhowin.org or NAWOSB.com, and you can get there, Google it. Great organization for you to simplify the process and also to put you in a pool that you can start to tap into certain things. It doesn't, it's not one of the organizations that throws you into the ocean. There is another organization, if you're just like, I don't know if I really want it, it can expose you to it. It's called GTPAC, GTPAC. And it will give you an idea of what you're going to look into. But if you really go there and you realize I can do this, you need to go with NAWOSB to complete the certification.
And I'll tell you what I love about NAWOSB is that not only do they help you with getting the certification, getting through that process, but also after you've obtained it, they really work with you in helping you get contracts, finding contracts for you, helping you build those relationships and getting those doors, and not just because as we know, there's a lot to a contract. So once you get the certification, that doesn't guarantee you anything. No, it doesn't guarantee you but like you said, it just gets you at the table. But really following that process and learning how to do it properly, who the people are, making the connections, that's something you really have to learn, and that's something you don't want to really stumble on yourself. So they are a great organization with helping you get through that, and just the networking and meeting other businesses going with it. I think it's great too.
It is. And you don't have to be, don't think that you have to be in business for 10, 15, 20 years, 8 years or whatever. You can just have started the business a year ago and realize that, hey, I've watched this. I've been watching different interviews on BizLinks TV. I've followed the resources that I've learned, and I realize I've picked up a lot of golden nuggets. And so now you've gotten a lot of do's and don'ts. So you can apply the do's and eliminate the don'ts and kind of go with it. And then if you say, I put all this together, I think I want to try this. Check it out on GTPAC. Get a feel for what it is. And then when you say, I like it, go to NAWOSB and they'll help you. And then, one of the things, here's a thing that came to me. You know what trips me out sometimes? People start a business. They don't want to go to any training. They don't want to attend any workshops. They don't want to educate themselves. They don't want to read anything. They think they can just open the business and everything will come. However, two things happen. When you start a new job, what's the first thing they put you into? Orientation. For 3 months, sometimes 6. You got to be trained. You got to sit with a preceptor or a mentor, right? So that you can learn the flow of things. But yet people start businesses all day long. They don't want to get a coach. They don't want to get a mentor. They don't want to go to a workshop. They don't want to get training. And then they wonder why they're not going anywhere.
And to correct it, because they're not starting a business, they just created a job for themselves.
It's a hobby at that point. When you can't pay yourself, that's a hobby.
Exactly. And I tell, and that's in classes I always ask who's a nonprofit on purpose, because sometimes you're nonprofit, but you're supposed to be for profit. But
I got to talk on that for 1 second. Okay, for all my family out there that wants to start a nonprofit, I'm going to give you a quick tip, and then we're going to move on. Do not think that starting a nonprofit is going to give you all these grants and checks just free will. It's not happening. You have to still function it as a business. As a matter of fact, you have to function it even tighter, because you need bylaws. You actually have to have an operating manual. You have to have budgets. You have to have income. People think that nonprofit means we make no profit. In the respect of financing, yes, you do not make a profit, but you're supposed to make money to funnel money back into the organization to do what you need to do. It doesn't mean that you start with $0 and everybody will give you everything. No.
And you have to answer to those people that are giving you that money. So that's the thing that people don't realize. They think they just get it and that's it. But you have to answer to it and make sure that you're spending it the way they're expecting
you to spend it. They expect you to spend it. You can't get it and go on vacation with the money. You will go to jail.
So, so what we're saying, that's a perfect point, because we're always talking about that on Let's Talk Nonprofits, that you have to consider that. And instead of starting your own, there's so many nonprofits out there already doing it. So if you're about that cause, get involved with them, and y'all grow it and make it even bigger.
Everybody wants to reinvent the wheel. I don't know why. It's a lot of work.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, in business, the thing I always tell individuals with businesses, you've got to love running a business. It's not about that particular one thing that you enjoy doing. And we talk about evolution of business, and Visionary People has been evolving over time. Tell everyone what your primary focus is right now for Visionary People.
You know, primary focus for Visionary People right now is heavily focused on our training and development. We're doing a lot of training and development, workshops, things like that. We have our Create Wealth Domination Lunch and Learn that we're have rolled out. That's one of our main things, working on our contracts. That's everything we're focusing on. Unfortunately, we don't do one-on-one coaching as much anymore, but we do leadership development. So if there is a group of executives and leaders, we then go on that route, which falls under training and development. And again, launching our second book, you know, getting the next book out. So that's a heavy focus for us. And again, so we've realized through brand development and our strategic side for branding, our main focus is really helping people create wealth domination. We're trying to get businesses out of the rut. You know, one of the things that came to me, I said, you know what, one of the things we have to communicate to people is stop waiting until you have what you want or need to be what you want to be. Become what you want to be, and then pursue the things you need to have, instead of waiting. Oh, if I had enough money, I would. Oh, if I had the degree, I would. Oh, if I had the right man or the right woman, I would. You know what? Forget all that. Be that thing up here. In here first, and you will have everything that you need to have, instead of sitting around waiting. When I have it, that's that coulda, woulda, shoulda mentality. You know, and most of those people are very average and they're mediocre. They don't go anywhere because they live a mediocre life and an average life of woulda, coulda, shoulda. If I had it, when I have it, and all that when and if is sitting right there. Become what you want to become. Put it in your head. Meditate it and just feast on it, and you'll watch and see what you have.
Well, I love that, because I was going to ask her for a closing nugget, but you just got it.
Write that down.
Again, make sure that you go back, take your time, listen to this multiple times, share it with your family and friends, other businesses, those that are interested in going into business. Now, Natasha, I know you're also an awesome speaker. Thank you. You get more of this at an event. I mean, and just on steroids on top of that.
Yeah, I'm fired up. Exactly. You show me a mic and a camera. Jeez, you know, it's on. You know, matter of fact, this Saturday we're doing a business seminar at Nally's Toyota here in Atlanta at Stone Mountain, and we are talking to businesses about that. So that's at 10 o'clock. You know, if you go to my Facebook page, you will see it. And my Facebook, what's my Facebook these days? Natasha Davis Visionary?
Yeah, because she has a couple. As you know, the business has grown, so she does have a couple. But yeah, so that's it. Natasha,
you can go to Natasha Davis Visionary on Facebook or Natasha VP CEO on Twitter, and you'll find it. But if you're in the Atlanta area, we're going to be up at Stone Mountain at Nally's Toyota, and that's what I'll be speaking on is business.
Fantastic. I mean, just Google her. That's right, because you'll find her all over, because she's on all the different social networks as well. So, yeah, absolutely. Now, tell everyone your website, so how they can also find out more about Visionary People.
Yes, you can log on to visionarypeoplearise.com. That's Visionary People, ARIS as in Sam, E.com, and you'll find all the information: contact number, email, social media connections, and all that good stuff. So that's where we're hanging out.
Well, we're gonna lock her in on camera now, because we have been talking about this show, so we're just gonna go ahead and get it down.
You see,
we're gonna do it. Yes, we're gonna do it, because you know, every time we get together, there's so much that we can share, so much that we can talk about, just through this journey of our experiences of others that we met, and we really want to, you know, make this valuable for businesses. So we are committing to getting our show together so that we can bring that bring this to you, this awesome information, because we know you want more of it. We look forward to more of it in your book as well.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
So now, is there a date for it yet?
The date's not yet, because we're still waiting for the publisher, the publishing company, to give us the galley. And if for those that are authors know what a galley is, if you don't, it's basically the edited version where you get to see what it would look like in final print. You go through it, you edit it, you send it back, they make it all pretty, and then that's the final book. So we're waiting for the galley. And when we get the galley, I'm so excited, then we'll do the official launch. And this particular launch, because you always learn from book one to book two. When we do the next launch is going to be more purposeful. And so it's going to be tied to a cause that we're passionate about, which is education, but also women's empowerment, you know, standing against domestic violence, and which I'm real passionate about for several reasons. But we're tying it to that, and again, it's not really to do the poor thing.
Right.
Oh, I wish she'd have left 25 years ago.
Yeah.
No, it's to empower women to say, you know what, you put your hands on me one more time, it's going to be a bad day.
Right.
And so that's really what it is. It's not really, you know, we're not looking to create like, you know, like Hulk Hogan women or something like that. But it's to empower women to realize that you don't have to deal with that. So we're tying it to the cause, launching the book, so the date will be coming. We're really excited.
Fantastic. So you all make sure you look out for that. Continue to follow Natasha. Natasha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure coming here. And I was on my best behavior.
And she was. But that won't happen on the show, I promise you.
No. I was asked by the other producer to behave, so I'm behaving, okay?
So I think we did pretty good. But everyone, we want to thank you all for joining us. Again, please go back and watch this episode. Share it with others. Check it out at bizlinks.tv. Also, make sure that you, again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bizlinkstv. Again, don't just subscribe. Make sure you please provide us those comments. Give us those thumbs up. That really helps us continue to bring to you these wonderful shows. Give us your comments. We'll make sure that we get them to our guests as well. And let us know what else you want to hear about, because we're going to be planning this. So go ahead and start sending us the feedback about what you'd like to hear more about and hear us talk about and share with everyone. Also, don't forget Facebook, facebook.com/bizlinkstv. I'm Pamela Alexander, your host of That's My Biz. And remember, with BizLinks TV Network, we're exposing your business to the world.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed on demand on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. If you are interested in having your products, services, or special cause showcased on our program, submit an inquiry to that'smybiz@bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at bizlinks.tv.